from TLC Animal Hospital, and I'm just going to talk about some puppy tips today. So these are just some general recommendations that we try to give all of our puppy parents when they come in. So one of the big things with puppies is going to be vaccination. Vaccination is really important to protect them against common diseases. Most commonly, parvo and distemper are two viral diseases that can be quite serious and are very contagious. Generally, we want to start their puppy set when they're between 6 and 8 weeks of age. And then depending on the recommendations from your veterinarian, generally we want to see them back every 3 to 4 weeks for boosters until they're 4 to 5 months of age. They also get a rabies vaccine when they're between 3 and 4 months of age as well. Until they've had that full set of vaccinations, they're not considered fully protected. So we do want to do a risk assessment and try to avoid high-risk areas where they might come in contact with infectious diseases. So what that basically means is until they've had their full set of vaccines, we don't want them to go to the pet store or to the dog park. We don't want them to come in contact with dogs where we're not sure about their vaccine history, who might be sick. Or in those crowded environments where dogs tend to congregate. It is okay to take your puppy outside on a walk in less populated areas, so just not in a dog park, just out for a normal walk. Just again, be careful to avoid any unfamiliar dogs, avoid any dog feces that might be on the ground that might have some infectious organisms in it. We do want them to be well socialized, so if you have friends or family members with dogs that are well behaved and vaccinated, you can have supervised play dates. Puppy classes, if it's in a dedicated training facility, as long as they have the requirement that all the puppies be vaccinated and healthy, there's been data to show that that does not really increase your risk of disease. So that's a good way to get these guys socialized during this young age. Heartworm prevention is another big thing that we worry about. Heartworms are spread by mosquitoes. Even in a desert region like us, even primarily indoor animals are still potentially susceptible because mosquitoes are very, very sneaky and very good at coming indoors and biting our cats and our dogs and spreading heartworms. Heartworm prevention should ideally be started as soon as possible. It can start as early as 6 weeks of age. Most products for puppies are going to be administered monthly, so we do want to make sure that those are given consistently. And then when the puppy's between 6 and 7 months of age is when they would get their first heartworm test to confirm that they weren't infected when they were really young. It would activate the guarantee on ongoing heartworm prevention as well. For other parasites, fleas and ticks, flea and tick prevention is a good thing to do. I would try to talk to your veterinarian about what products they recommend. Make sure that we pick one that's efficacious, that it works well, as well as being safe. Intestinal parasites are very common in our puppies and our kittens, so we do want to routinely screen for those. The way that we do that is it's a sample of poop, not the funnest thing. It's generally called a fecal exam. So what that involves is bringing in a relatively fresh sample of your puppy's stool to the veterinarian so that they can go ahead and get that analyzed for parasites. And then if we come back positive for any intestinal parasites, then we can go ahead and get dewormed or get treated. I would try to talk to your veterinarian about any specific requirements as to the sample, as different labs sometimes have different directions on how they'd like that. You good boy. You good boy, huh? Another big thing to think about when you get a new puppy is spaying or neutering, which is generally recommended for these guys. The age recommendation can differ. So there's studies out now to show that for our dogs that are going to grow up to be large breed dogs, there's potentially a benefit to waiting until they're more fully grown to get them spayed or neutered. So talk to your vet about their recommendations, but for us here, based on the data, we generally say if you have a large breed puppy, The females we try to get spayed when they're between 10 and 11 months of age. And then the boys, we like to get them neutered when they're fully grown at about 18 months of age. For our smaller breed dogs like Lucky here, we can go ahead and get them spayed or neutered earlier. We generally like them to have most, if not all, of their vaccine series on board. So usually between 4 and 6 months of age is a good time. For our females, timing is especially important. If we can get the small breed female dogs spayed before their first heat cycle, which can occur as early as 6 months of age, then that'll reduce the risk of breast cancer later on by over 99%. Whereas if we wait until after their first heat but before their second heat, that there's still a benefit, but it drops down to 70%. That's why for the larger breed female dogs, we try to get them done at about 10, 11 months of age. So we're trying to catch them before that second heat, but after they've done a bit more growing. He's providing our soundtrack. Another thing to think about when you get a new puppy, or kitten for that matter, is going to be pet insurance. There is health insurance for dogs and cats. There's lots of different options out there, so I'd encourage you to talk to your vet about what they might recommend, do some research, see which policy would work best for you. But you want to try to get them insured when they're young, both because it's more budget friendly, and also we want to get them insured before they get sick with anything. So most of the time when you first adopt a puppy is when they're going to be at their healthiest, so that's a good time to make sure that they're insured and protected against future injury or illness. Another consideration to have for your new puppy is going to be microchipping. Sometimes if you've adopted them from a shelter or rescue, they already come microchipped. If not, then I would talk to your veterinarian about when a good time to, when they would recommend microchipping them. Microchipping is a really good way to help these guys if they were to get lost. It really increases the likelihood of them being successfully reunited with you. Another potential benefit, some microchip manufacturers now are including additional features with the microchip. So for example, the Home Again chip that we use includes a temperature reading, which is nice for these guys that don't appreciate having a rectal temperature taken. That's one way for us to get a good temperature estimate without having to stress out the dog. So definitely something worth looking into there. I'd also try to make sure that you do register the chip and make sure that if your address or your contact information changes, that you go ahead and get that registration information updated so that it stays current. Another big part of having a puppy is going to be training, socialization, and behavior. These guys are basically like little kids that are very mobile, very rambunctious, very curious, and they have teeth. So establishing a routine, establishing structure, getting them properly socialized, making sure that we're doing positive reinforcement or reward-based training is going to be very important. We do want to try to avoid anything aversive like punishments. And there's some really excellent resources out there for both how to socialize these guys and how to train them in a positive way. So I encourage you to talk to your veterinary team about that as well. And basically just have patience and realize that we're establishing behaviors early on that we want to continue throughout the life of the pet. So we want to try to give them a good foundation and good building blocks so that later on, once they're all grown up, they'll be well adjusted and well behaved. Okay, this isn't maybe the best thing to get you started with. No, let's not do that.
Okay.
Oh, lucky no. I know. Let's not start tail chasing. Let's not do that. It's really cute. Thank you guys so much. And again, if you have any questions about your puppy, definitely reach out to your veterinary team so that they can assist you. Thank you so much.